Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan, the wretched one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the compassionate, the most merciful. Surah Luqman. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alif Lam Mim. تلك آيات الكتاب الحكيم هدى ورحمة للمحسنين. Alif Lam Mim. These are ayat of the wise book. They are a source of guidance and mercy for those who do good. الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم بالآخرة هم يوقنون. Those who establish salah, who pay zakah, and who are convinced about the akhirah, life after death. أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. These people are upon the guidance they received from their Rabb, and they are truly successful ones. Alhamdulillah, we have completed Surah Al-Rum, and now we are starting Surah Luqman. The contents of both surahs are similar because they are both Makki surahs, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala focuses on Tawheed, Risalat, answering questions of the mushrikeen, Akhirat, life after death, and these types of topics. So in this surah as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned some nice advices of Sayyiduna Luqman ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salam, mentioning the haqqaniyat of Quran in the beginning, and then the power of Allah by mentioning the creations of Allah like the sky and the earth, and how Allah created the sky without any pillars, and how Allah spread out the earth, and how Allah put mountains on it. And Allah said these are all creations of Allah. So mentioning the power and the tawheed and oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This surah is named Surah Luqman because Luqman Hakim alayhi salam's story is mentioned in here. Was Luqman Hakim alayhi salam a prophet or not? Most of the ulama say he was not a prophet, he was a wali, a friend of Allah. Some ulama mufassirin have narrated that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offered him a choice between two things, nubuwwat and hikmat. And he chose hikmat. That nubuwwat is a pretty hard task for a person like me, so I'd rather stick with hikmat than nubuwwat. So he was a very nice, wise Hakim, Luqman the wise man. In which era was he? Hazrat Maulana Idris Kandalvi rahmatullah alayhi narrates that some mufassirin say that he was during the time of Ayyub alayhi salam, and he was the nephew, Bhanja, of Sayyiduna Ayyub alayhi salam. Some say he was the Khalazad Bhai of Ayyub alayhi salam, cousin brother. And Allah Pak gave him a long life until Dawood alayhi salam's time came. During the time of Dawood alayhi salam, he was a qazi and a mufti. But when Dawood alayhi salam was raised, he gave up giving fatwa and qaza. He said, a Nabi has now come, so he is enough, and I am no longer needed. So he gave up giving fatwa and qaza. In Sahih Bukhari Sharif, it is narrated that some ulama have narrated that Luqman Hakim was a najjar, carpenter. Some say he was a khayyat, darzi, tailor, sewing clothes. And others say he used to look after people's sheep and goats. He was a shepherd. Whatever his work was, but he used to earn his livelihood with hard work and effort. So he used to say some nice words, and he gave some real nice advice to his son. Ya bunayya, ya bunayya, ya bunayya, dear son, dear son, dear son. Some of those advices are mentioned over here in this Quran, in this surah as well. So his advices were so nice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, summarized them and gave a selection of few of those advices over here in the Quran as well. So because of that, this surah is named Surah Luqman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts off with the haqqaniyat and truthfulness of the Quran, wherein Allah says, Alif Lam Mim Tilka Ayatul Kitabil Hakim. Allah knows best what He means by Alif Lam Mim. Tilka Ayatul Kitabil Hakim. These are ayat of the wise book. This book is full of wisdom. Meaning Luqman Hakim's words of wisdom are but a few. This book is full of Hakimana kalimat, and there is hikmat in the whole of Quran. Wherever you see there is wisdom, hikmat, danai, samajdari, clear, nice, explaining Quran, self-explanatory Quran. And on top of that, hudan wa rahmatan lil muhsinin. There is guidance in it and mercy for those who do good. Many books, many works and articles are very nicely written, but there is no guidance in there. Quran Sharif is a form of hidayah. It guides a person towards the truth, towards haqqaniyah, towards the right, haqq. So it's a guide. This book is a guide as well. And it's rahmatan lil muhsinin. It's a book of mercy for those who do good. So there is rahmat and mercy in each and every ayat of the Quran. Every surah, every ayat, every word, every letter has some rahmat and mercy in it. In another place, Allah said, Ya ayyuhan nas, قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين. O people, surely an admonition has come unto you from your Rabb. Nasihat, good advice, counsel. Quran is advice. And in this Quran there is shifa for the sicknesses of the heart. And in this Quran there is guidance, hidayah. And in this Quran there is rahmat and mercy for the mu'mineen, believers. In another place, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We send down in this Quran such ayat which are shifa and rahmat for the mu'mineen. There is cure from illnesses, zahiri illnesses as well as batini illnesses, and there is rahmat and mercy for those who believe, who do good. And who are the people who do good? Allah defines them. We will say, somebody will say, do good are those who are very nice, very humble, very helpful. Allah Pak is saying, okay, it is good. However, in the eyes of Allah, the good people are those who do three things. يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. Establish salah. They never miss salah. Never mind farz salah. They never miss their tahajjud salah. They don't miss ishraq, chasht, awwabin salah. They pray nawafil as well as farais. And yutuna zakat, who give zakat calculated properly. It's hard to calculate zakat properly and give it out properly, especially for the millionaires. The poor and the middle class, they do work out their zakat and give it properly. But for the rich people, it is hard to calculate zakat properly and give proper hisab. Allah said, no matter how rich they are, they don't become stingy, miserly. They give their zakat properly. And number three, وَهُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. And they have firm conviction with regards to the hereafter. They know that they have to stand before Allah one day and give an account of their whole life. Those who have these three qualities are the muhsineen, good doers of good, and أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. These people are upon a guidance which they have received from their Rabb, and they are the truly successful ones who will attain eternal salvation in the hereafter. These are the opening ayat of Surah Luqman, mentioning the hikmat and wisdom of Quran and the hidayat and rahmat. Moving on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَيَتَّخِذَهَا هُزُوًا أولئك لهم عذاب مهين. And among people there are some who purchase lahul hadith, amusing talks and speeches, futile discourses, ليضل عن سبيل الله بغير علم, so that they may deviate people from the path of Allah without any knowledge. ويتخذها هزوا, and they mock the path of Allah. أولئك لهم عذاب مهين, they are such for whom there will be a humiliating punishment. وإذا تتلى عليه آياتنا ظل مستكبرا كأن لم يسمعها, when our ayat are recited to them, they arrogantly turn away as if they have not heard them. كأن في أذنيه وقرا, as if there is a prop in their ears. فبشره بعذاب أليم, so give them the good news of a painful punishment which lies in wait for them. These two ayat refer to some futile talks and amusements which the people of Jahiliyyat used to busy themselves in. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying such people who fall for these types of amusements and lead others astray from the path of Allah, and who make a mockery of the words of Allah, the Quran, they will have a painful punishment. Regarding whom these ayat are revealed, I think we will go into it after Salah. ठीक है? तो उसकी डिटेल है ज़रा, 2-3 कॉल हैं, तो ये बात अधूरी रह जाएगी.
ठीक.
बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम. व मिनन नासि मन यश्तरी लहवल हदीस लियुदिल्ल अन सबीलिल्लाहि बिगैरि इल्मिन व यत्तखिदहा हुज़ुवा उलाइका लहुम अज़ाबुन मुहीन. There are some people who purchase futile discourse to deviate from Allah's path without any knowledge, and they mock it. There shall be a humiliating punishment for these people. Surah Luqman, ayat number 6. This lahwul hadith, amusement which distract a person, amusing talk, amusing speech, what is the reference to? Ibn Kathir, Imam Qurtubi, Hazrat Maulana Idris Kanalvi rahmatullahi alayhi majma'een narrate from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu that he said, Wallahi alladhi la ilaha illa hu huwa al-ghina'u yuraddiduha 3 marrat, that this is songs, music. He took a qassam and said this 3 times, that lahul hadith, the reference is towards music and songs. Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi also said fil ghina'i wal mazamir, that this was regarding ghina and mazamir, songs and musical instruments. Same tafseer is narrated from Abdullah ibn Abbas, Jabir ibn Abdullah, Mujahid ibn Jabr. Ibn al-Jawzi narrated it from Hasan Basri, Sa'id ibn Jubair, Qatada, Ibrahim Nakha'i. They all say that the reference of lahwul hadith is towards ghina. In one hadith, Imam Qurtubi narrates from the authority of Imam Tirmizi rahmatullahi alayhi that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لا تبيعوا القينات ولا تشتروهن ولا تعلموهن ولا خير في تجارة فيهن وثمنهن حرام. وفي مثل هذا أنزلت هذه الآية ومن الناس من يشتري لهو الحديث ليضل عن سبيل الله. Do not purchase singing women. Qainat is plural of qainatun, which means pop stars. And in those days, they used to go and buy slave girls who would sing beautifully and who would know how to use the musical instruments and various songs. So don't buy slave girls who sing songs, and do not sell them, and do not teach your women how to sing songs. And there is no point in doing business with these types of slave girls, and their thaman is haram. Their price, if you buy and sell them, then the price is haram. And regarding this ayat was revealed, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ. Imam Qurtubi rahmatullah alayhi says this ayat is one of the 3 ayat which indicate towards the impermissibility and hurmat of musical instruments and songs. The second ayat is وَأَنْتُمْ سَامِدُونَ أَفَمِنْ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ تَضْحَكُونَ تعجبون وتضحكون ولا تبكون وأنتم سامدون. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma says هو الغناء بالحميرية. In the Himyari Arabic language, samada means to sing songs. They used to say ismadi lana, yani ghanni lana, chalo kuch gana sunao. And the third ayat is واستفزز من استطعت منهم بصوتك in Surah Bani Israel, that you may instigate with your voice whosoever you want to. So bisautik over there is sautu shaitan, is mizmaru shaitan, musical instruments. And with regards to this, these 3 ayats and ahadith also indicate towards this. We covered this topic before in Surah Al-Shu'ara, but we will touch it over here again because in these days songs and music is rampant. We see youngsters in their cars on traffic lights give ways, especially on hot days, and loud songs everywhere. And sometimes our ears, get burst, and we don't know how they are tolerating in their cars full blast volume and songs everywhere. Songs in the cars, songs in the markets, songs in the homes. Everywhere you see music, songs. So we need to understand that, busying ourselves in songs all the time is not something good. When there is only some sort of bell which is tingling, ding, 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 then the hadith says the malaika do not go in with those travelers among whom there is someone who has a bell which is making noise. So if we are traveling in a car and we are listening to songs, then the malaika, the protectors, will no longer be with us. So if we want protection from Allah, when we sit in the car, we should recite the dua of safar, we should recite Ayatul Kursi and beg Allah for protection, and keep reciting Quran or Darud Sharif or Zikr while we are driving, not listening to music and songs while we are driving. So because this is rampant everywhere, even in Islamic nasheeds we get songs like Mahir Zain, he's a full blast pop star, and there is no difference between his songs and the pop stars in mainstream when you go around. And Cat Stevens also running around with guitar now, Yusuf Islam. He's changed his name from Yusuf Islam to Yusuf Cat Stevens. You go on his Twitter account and he writes over there Yusuf Cat Stevens. So he's changed, he's gone back to his old ways. So these pop stars, they are reviving the pop culture, and they want to be famous and they want to be number 1 in UK, and for that they are doing all this. So we have to understand that these pop culture and songs is not something good. And even in this country about 30-40 years ago, they never used to look at these as stars. Some time ago, maybe 40 years ago, when Elton John wanted to perform in the Buckingham Palace, he was not allowed. And when Princess Diana died, the Queen invited him to sing in the Buckingham Palace. So, how times have changed. So, those times were the better times, even in this country as well. And now, the society has gone down the slope with such speed that we don't know where it is going to end. As we said before there used to be tape records and cassettes, and now you don't need to change the cassettes, iPod and iPad and earphones, and listening all the time while riding the bike or walking to work or wherever, but listening to the songs all the time. So we need to understand that akhlaqi e'tibar se, morally, socially as well, it's bad for the society, it's bad for the individual, medically as well, bad for the ears, bad for the brain, and religiously as well.
उसका इसका अभी एक कोइंसिडेंस है
हाँ
ये वाकई अभी मेरे आने से पहले पेश आया
हाँ
और आपके बुलेटिन में भी इसका अवेयरनेस आपके हॉस्पिटल में है
हाँ
वो ये है कि जितने मिज़मार हैं
हाँ
चाहे वो गिटार हो ड्रम हो ये
हाँ
हो उसकी जो साउंड के वेवलेंथ हैं जिसको डेसिबल कहते हैं
हाँ
ह्यूमन टॉलरेंस के लिए अप टू 80 डेसिबल
80 decibels
हाँ समाज को ख़राब नहीं करता
हाँ
an average musical instrument producing 80 तो ये है 80 times more sound waves.
Oh,
80 times
80 times more
So
sound
one of the main causes of ear buzzing, जिसको tinnitus बोलते हैं,
हाँ
is pollution through music.
pollution through music.
ये हम नहीं कह रहे हैं, इनके हॉस्पिटल आपके इन्फर्मरी में उन्होंने डे रखा है tinnitus डे. मैं परसों गया था अपनी वाइफ को ले गया था तो वहाँ कहते हैं हमारे पास tinnitus बहुत से केसेस आ रहे हैं. For awareness we want to have a tinnitus. तो
अल्लाह के नबी तो हमको 1400 साल पहले कह गए थे कुरान में अल्लाह पाक has told us from before कि भाई don't listen to songs, don't listen to music. है जी. अब यहाँ पर हज़रत मुफ्ती शफी साहब रहमतुल्लाह अलैह has written a very nice risala Islam और मूसीकी in Urdu, and in English Khalid Beg has written a very nice risala. I think it's called Slippery Stone, and everybody should read it. Very nice. He starts off with this scenario that I was once driving in Canada or USA somewhere under the traffic light. We were stopped and the car on my side was listening to music, so loud music that I was getting irritated. So I thought, how is this man tolerating it? So this is everywhere, not just in US or America, Europe, but in Arab countries as well, in Arabian lands, and in our areas as well, India, Pakistan, wherever you go, songs. The only place we were protected from songs was Makkah, Medina. Otherwise, everywhere in the buses, in the cars, in the markets, everywhere there are songs. So, there are many ahadith with regards to this. Like, for example, وَظَهَرَتِ الْقَيْنَاتُ وَالْمَعَازِفِ, the hadith of Sayyidina Ali karramallahu wajhahu, narrated by Tirmizi and Ibn Majah. When 15 things happen, then calamities, natural disasters will increase. And among those 15 things was وَظَهَرَتِ الْقَيْنَاتُ وَالْمَعَازِفِ, when pop stars and musical instruments are widespread, then these problems and calamities, natural disasters will increase. So there is a cause and effect connection between two. That is the cause and this is the effect. Also, in one hadith narrated by Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad from his father, and he narrated from his grandfather Sayyiduna Ali radiyallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Bu'ithtu bi kasril mazamir." Qurtubi has narrated this. I have been sent to eradicate the musical instruments. In another place, Ibn Abbas narrates, "Bu'ithtu bi hadmil mazamir wa tabli." I have been sent to wipe out the musical instruments and the drums. Also, Tirmizi narrates from Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu that Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Sawtani mal'unani fajirani anha anhuma." Two voices which are cursed and which are of transgressing nature, I forbid them for you and stop you from both voices. صوت مزمار ورنة شيطان عند نغمة ومرح. One is the voice of musical instrument and shaitani voice at time of joy and happiness. And ورنة عند مصيبة لطم خدود وشق جيوب. And secondly, the ranna का क्या तर्जुमा करेंगे, गुनगुनाना, crying, wailing upon a calamity by slapping the cheeks and tearing apart the garments. So these two voices, नौहा मातम, खुशी में भी और गमी में भी, ये दो voice हुजूर ने फरमाया इन पर अल्लाह की लानत जाती है, इनसे मैं तुमको मना करता हूँ. In fact, Imam Qurtubi narrates from Abdullah ibn Mubarak, who narrates from Imam Malik, from Muhammad ibn Munkadir, from Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, that Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Man jalasa ila qaynatin yasma'u minha subba fi udhunihi al-anuku yawm al-qiyamah." Whosoever sits with a singer and listens to her singing voice, then lead will be put in his ears on the day of Qiyamah. On the other hand, when a person refrains from music, he has music in his home, he has everything available to him, but he has taqwa and fear of Allah and behaves, then there is basharat for him. Imam Qurtubi narrates from Muhammad ibn Munkadir, who says, "Balaghana anna Allah ta'ala yaqulu yawm al-qiyamah, ayna ibadi alladhina kanu yunazzihuna nufusahum wa asma'ahum 'anil lahwi wa mazamir ash-shayatin, ahilluhum riyad al-miski wa akhbiruhum anni qad ahlaltu 'alayhim ridwani." Where are my servants who used to keep themselves clean and park and pure, and also keep their ears free from listening to amusements and musical instruments of shaitan? Bring them forth and let them enjoy in the gardens of musk, and tell them that I am delivering my pleasure for them. I will always be happy with them. In another riwayat, it is also said, "Asmi'uhum hamdi wa shukri wa thana'i." O my malaika, you sing in front of them my praise and my shukr and my thana and my greatness. وَأَخْبِرُوهُمْ أَلَّا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Tell them that there is no fear upon them and they will not grieve. In another riwayat, مَنِ اسْتَمَعَ إِلَى صَوْتِ غِنَاءٍ لَمْ يُؤْذَنْ لَهُ أَنْ يَسْمَعَ الرُّوحَانِيِّينَ. If a person has a habit of listening to song, he will not be permitted to listen to the ruhaniyin. Someone asked, "Who are the ruhaniyin, Ya Rasulullah?" And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "Qurra'u ahlil jannah," the qaris of ahlul jannah, those who recite Quran with beautiful voice in Jannah. A person who listens to songs in this dunya will be deprived from their voices. In some asar it is narrated that Qurra will recite, then Dawood alayhi salam will be told and he will recite, then our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will recite, and then Allah himself will recite, and the people of Jannah will listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that will be the most beautiful and pleasant moment, and this will be for people who protect themselves from listening to songs, as is mentioned over here. So this is with regards to the first tafsir, that lahwul hadith here indicates towards songs, and we should try and stay away and refrain from songs altogether.
इस हदीस की तरफ मैं आपको इशारा करना ही चाह रहा था कि औरंगज़ेब के जो आजकल नए इंकशाफात आ रहे हैं किताब के, उन्होंने एक जुमला लिखा कि क़यामत के बाद जब आप जन्नत में चले जाएंगे, हज़रत दाऊद अलैहिस्सलाम की इस मार से आप महरूम हो जाएंगे। कन्फर्म्स और एक रिवायत में ये भी आता है कि जो गुलमान होंगे,
हाँ, हुरो गिलमान, वो भी
एंटरटेन करेंगे।
हाँ, वो तो अपनी अपनी जन्नत में तो तुम्हारी हुरे तो गाएंगी ही तुम्हारे सामने। हाँ, a person will tell his hurs, "Come on, sing some song for me," and they will sing for him, and they will have the beautiful voice. Some words are mentioned in the hadith as well. نحن الخالدات فلا نبيد، نحن الناعمات فلا نبأس، نحن الراضيات فلا نسقط. And these types of words, Rasulullah just mentioned the word. He didn't make it in a type of rhyme, but he said their focus will be about these words, that we are here to stay with you forever, and we will never fade away or leave you, and we will always be happy with you, we will never be angry, and we will always be rejoicing, and we will never become poor and needy. So these types of wordings, they will sing songs and they will express their love for their Jannati. So the hurs will also sing for their Jannatis.
ये हदीस गारी की तफसीर में आपने ज़्यादातर इसके जितने हैं वो बिना की तरफ से ही रिपोर्ट,
जी जी जी,
लेकिन हो सकता है कि सलफियों का मिजाज की वजह से अल्बानी की रिवाज से कहते हैं कि anything which deflects from the zikr or yad of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or any games like computer games, they also come within the category of li hadith in ghairi.
This is the second tafsir.
Achha.
That lahul hadith does not just include musical instruments and songs, but it also includes futile things which distract and turn away a person from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Vain pockets.
Futile talks and like you just mentioned, shatranj and these types of games. And at the moment, you know, in this environment which we live in, we feel it's a bit hard to say something about this because these people can't understand what we're trying to say. And they feel offended when we say these types of words. And it should not be the case because we are only trying to explain what our religion is saying and what is best for the human being, what is best for a person. And they don't want these things for the educated people. You see those who graduate in Oxford and Cambridge, they never listen to songs and these types of amusements. They are busy in their studying work, and they go on to become doctors and lawyers and barristers. And when we say to our young ones that please don't listen to these things, they say, oh, you know, we are not British and we are against the British culture and this and that. This is nothing to do with British culture. It's something we need to explain to our society, our community. It's not for others. It's for our children, our youngsters. Anyway, this includes the games as well, as you mentioned. Imam Qurtubi rahmatullah alayhi has said that this ghina and these songs are regarding those songs which create passion and build up excitement, in which there is beauty of women is mentioned, talks of sexual nature, where there is the hijan and shahwat and desire for the others or opposite gender is created and excited. These types, and in which there is also alcohol and intoxicants also going around, and maybe drugs as well. So that no one can dispute with regards to the hurmat of these things, that they are haram, and everybody will say that these things are haram. Now, if there was some light instrument, Imam Qurtubi says, and in the lyrics there is nothing to create any passion, nothing about fuhsh and indecency, nothing that creates excitement and passion for the opposite gender, then maybe little bit qaleel would be allowed at the times of joy. This is qaleelul lahu. Maybe at the times of urs, wedding, or maybe at the day of Eid, or maybe at the time of creating some chusti in the tabiyyat. For example, when there is some hard work going on, like Sahaba, they were singing some rhyme at the time of digging the trenches, or maybe in the journey and in the traveling, the Anjasha used to sing some song in his voice without any instruments, and he would say some poetry, and that poetry, the camels would love that poetry and they would run. He gave that wording in Al-Halal where you should have thought, okay, where is he going to lead? So this is where it comes that we need some fiqh, understanding of deen. And where there is lack of understanding, then people will come up with all types of things. Because in hadith, you will just pick one hadith and justify your things. This is why we have to refer to the mujtahideen. Aimma, what do they say in this regards to this? So first I was talking about, we have covered two things. Number one, the pop culture. Imam Qurtubi said it's haram because there is fuhsh in there, dancing, nudity, na-mahram's voice, and women singing, and the lyrics and the words are also to create excitement, passion, and build up that that sexual nature. So it's haram. Secondly, light entertainment, in which in the wordings there is no excitement or anything, just at the time of Eid to show some joy and happiness. Maybe now and then this type of light entertainment could be allowed, but that even then the latest musical instrument should be avoided. Maybe just a little bit of duff and dhol could be allowed, but other than that, we should try and avoid, especially the tashabbuh and emulating and these types of what you call things. Number 3, Imam Qurtubi here talks about the Sufi music. He says the Sufi have invented some music and they continuously listen to music. Every night they have their sima and they stand up and there is music and there is dancing, swirling, and I don't know what type of things. So Imam Qurtubi Rahmatullah writes that sometimes the singers over there are women as well, and sometimes small amrad children as well, and this also creates a sort of excitement in their tabiyyat. So Imam Qurtubi writes over here that that is also haram. He said, فَأَمَّا مَبْتَدَعَتْهُ الصُّوفِيَّةُ الْيَوْمِ مِنَ الْإِدْمَانِ عَلَى سِمَاعِ الْمَغَانِي بِالْآدَاتِ الْمُطْرِبَةِ مِنَ الشَّبَّابَاتِ وَالطَّارِ وَالْمَعَازِفِ وَالْأُتَارِ فَحَرَامٌ. So, some people say that music should be allowed because Hazrat Khaja Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri Rahmatullah alayhi spread Islam in India with music. Astaghfirullah. Hazrat Khaja Sahib worked so hard and they are pouring water over his effort by saying he spread Islam with music. What about his mujahadat? He's crying at night for the ummah and he's going around, his speeches, his advices, and people, embracing Islam just by looking at his face. And his hard work, he's tackling the fitnas, the Shias of that area, and he's tackling with the non-Muslims and defeating them. So all that hard work is put on one side and they say he used to listen to music and by music Islam spread in that area. So these types of things, blaming the Sufis for this music and this culture is not allowed. Imam Qurtubi Rahmatullah said that is also, something which is contemptible and we should avoid it. With regards to A'immah al-Arba'ah, Imam Malik Rahmatullah said, songs are haram. Imam Abu Hanifa Rahmatullah says that yukrahul ghina'u, that general ruling for it would be makruh. Then it will depend on what type of wordings and what type of music that is. It could go up to haram, it could go a little bit down to mubah, but general ruling would be of karahiyat. Imam Shafi Rahmatullah said al ghina'u makruhun yushbihul batil. Ghina is makruh and it's batil. And from Imam Ahmad there are 3 riwayat. Number 1, Abu Bakr al-Khallal and Abdul Aziz, his brother said, Ibahatul Ghina. And the second riwayat from Imam Ahmad Rahmatullahi alayhi, maybe it's about Karahiyat, and then about third riwayat is about Hurmat. This is what Qurtubi Rahmatullahi narrates over here. However, the general ruling is that ghina is not something good and it should be avoided. And this is how the first tafsir of this ayat comes to a close. The second tafsir of this ayat is وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ. Ibn Abi Hatim narrates from Abu Umama radiyallahu anhu that it is regarding Ishtira'ul Mughanniyat min al-Jawari, meaning there was a person in Makkah Mukarramah by the name of Nadr ibn al-Harith, and he used to go around to the Roman areas and buy slave girls and also buy stories of Rustam and Isfandiyar and bring them here. And when anybody would want to go to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and listen to Quran and his beautiful words, he would say to them, come here, why are you going over there? Come in my majlis. He would invite them later at night and he would tell his, the singers and the girls that أطعميه واسقيه وغنيه. Give him some food and give him some alcohol and then sing some songs for him. And he would also narrate some stories of Rustam, and he would say Muhammad talks about Ad and Samud and these types of people. I will give you stories of the bravery of the Romans and I will narrate this to you. And in this way, he would distract people from Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam and stop them from believing in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, minan nasi man yashtari lahu al-hadith, the reference is towards Nadr ibn al-Harith, that he is a sharir and khabith who goes to those areas as a tajir, tradesman, but with his tijarat, he also brings these types of stories and books and these types of singers, and he causes fasad and fitna within the community, and he stops people from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the second tafsir. The third tafsir, Dhahhak said, lahu al-hadith ash-shirku, that it's regarding shirk, that people used to tell people to do shirk and stop people from Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibn Jarir said, Allahu kullu kalamin yasuddu an ayati Allahi wa ittiba'i sabilihi. Lahu is every talk and speech which stops a person from the verses of Allah and from following the path of Allah, is all lahu al-hadith. So there were in Makkah Mukarramah some people who used to purchase lahu al-hadith, amusing talks, futile discourses, engage in useless pastimes that distract people from thinking about Allah and dhikr of Allah, and liyudilla an sabilillah. They would do these, purchase these things so that they may deviate people, other people from Allah's path, meaning Deen al-Islam. بغير علم, they have no knowledge with regards to the reality of what they are doing. They are jahils, they are ignorant, and due to their jahalat they do such things. And وَيَتَّخِذَهَا هُزُوًا, and they stop people, misguide as well, and they make a mockery of the path of Allah, of the verses of Allah. They make a mockery and fun of Islam. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. For such people there is a disgracing and humiliating punishment. وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا وَلَّى مُسْتَكْبِرًا كَأَن لَّمْ يَسْمَعْهَا كَأَنَّ فِي أُذُنَيْهِ وَقْرًا فَبَشِّرْهُ بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. And when our ayat are recited to them, they arrogantly turn away as if they have not heard them, as if there is a prop in their ears. Pass to them the good news of an excruciating punishment, painful punishment. When our verses are recited to them, they turn their back with pride and arrogance. We don't want to listen to Muhammad. As though there is a dart in their ears, prop in their ears. Some cork has been placed into their ears. They have become deaf and they can't hear the verses of Allah. And they just keep going with their head high, and they don't want to know you, they don't want to see you, they don't want to listen to you. Allah said, فَبَشِّرْهُ بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Give them the good news of azabun alim, painful punishment. On the other hand, Allah said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ النَّعِيمِ. Meaning those who listen to the verses of Allah, who listen to Quran, who believe in Allah and His Rasul, and who work righteous deeds. Allah said, لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ النَّعِيمِ. For them are Jannat of ni'mat, bliss and joy. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. They will live in there forever. وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا. This is a promise of Allah which is true. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. It is He who is mighty and wise. I just mentioned in the hadith above that a person who refrains from listening to music and songs, Allah will give him Jannat, and in Jannat he will be allowed to listen to the hurs, listen to the qurra when there is gathering in the Jannat. In Jannat there will be market and there will be huge gathering of millions of Jannatis. And in that gathering special qurra will recite Quran like Qari Abdul Basit, and they will be allowed to listen to those qurras. And finally Dawud alayhi salam will sing the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will recite as well. So that we will be allowed to listen to their beautiful recitation in Jannah. This is إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Amal salih includes refraining from music and songs. So those who control their ego and nafs, believe and work righteous deeds, for them are Jannatul Na'im, and they will be abiding in there forever. Meaning, Allah Pak said in another place, وَمَا هُمْ مِنْهَا بِمُخْرَجِينَ. They will never be driven out of there. They will never be extradited. They will never be kicked out. You know, once you go in Jannah, Allah gives you, this is your Jannah, then you will be remaining in there forever. You will have no fear of being driven out. In this dunya, you could be driven out. You could be driven out of your home. You could be driven out of your homeland. You could be kicked out of this country. Day by day, new laws come and they kick people out for small reason. Like they have brought a new law. If someone is caught dealing with drugs, then they will extradite him straight away to their native country. You know, someone just phoned me this morning that some brother somewhere, he's being deported to Pakistan because he just only once he had some drug, he was caught with that. They say you are from your nationality, you have to go back, even though he has a British passport. So from Jannah, you will never be kicked out. You go in there, khalidina fiha. You will remain in there forever and ever and ever. Eternity will be given to you. وَعَدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا. And don't think this is just bogus or no. This is a promise of Allah. And haqqa. It's a haqq and true promise of Allah. Allah said, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who is more true to his words than Allah? وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. So Allah is Allah and His words are true. And وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. He is mighty, He is wise. Look at His power. خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا. He is so mighty that Allah created the skies without any pillars that you may see. وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ. And He has placed mountains on the earth to stabilize it, so that the earth does not shake with you. وَبَثَّ فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ دَابَّةٍ. And He has spread every type of animal on the earth. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ زَوْجٍ كَرِيمٍ. We have also sent rain from the sky, thereby growing every type of wonderful plant. هَذَا خَلْقُ اللَّهِ. This is Allah's creation. فَأَرُونِي مَاذَا خَلَقَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ. So show me, what have those besides Allah created? بَلِ الظَّالِمُونَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Nay, the oppressors are in clear misguidance, deviation. Allah said, Allah is Allah. He is promising you this Jannah because He is powerful, mighty, wise. Look at the way Allah created the heavens without any pillars. We can't make a small building without pillars. Small house needs pillars. Otherwise the structure, the roof cannot stand without pillars. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the sky and He has held it with His power, with His kun fayakun, without any pillars. Allah said, Alif Lam Mim Ra, Tilka Ayatul Kitab, Tilka Ayatul Kitab al-Hakim. أكان للناس عجبا أن أوحينا إلى رجل منهم أن أنذر الناس. ألف لام ميم را تلك آيات الكتاب والذي ينزل إليك من ربك الحق ولكن أكثر الناس لا يؤمنون. الله الذي رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها ثم استوى على العرش وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى يدبر الأمر يفصل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون. الله الذي رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها. Allah said in تبارك الذي بيده الملك وله كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا. 7 heavens, one above the other. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت. No differentiation, no difference in the creation of Allah. You won't see. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت. فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور. See, can you see any cracks? ثم ارجع البصر كرتين. Look as many times as you want, you won't see any cracks in the heavens. A roof will get cracked after a few years. Allah's roof never has developed any cracks. ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. So Allah said, خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا. जी.
ये सूरह मुल्क की जो आयत आपने बताया अभी कि अल्लाह ने ओपन चैलेंज दिया है कि अगर आप कोई डिफेक्ट इसमें देख सकते हैं तो फिर बोला फिर देखें इसको.
फिर देखो, बार-बार देखो. कररतैन means बार-बार, as many times as you want. यहाँ पर बिगैर अमदिन तरौनहा की दो तफसीरें हैं. एक तफसीर ये बिगैर अमदिन तरौनहा meaning बिगैर अमद. There are no pillars in holding on to the sky. And number two is Allah Pak gave the sifat tarawnaha, which means there are pillars but you can't see them. So even then, it's a power of Allah that Allah Pak has hidden those pillars which are holding on to the heavens. In both cases, the power of Allah is holding on to the sky. To بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا, without any pillars which you might see. وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ. Allah threw the mountains on the earth to make it firm and stabilize it so that it does not shake with you. وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ. Rawasi is plural of rasiyatun. Rasa yarsu, rusuban means set hona. Or arsa yursi irsaan means set kar dena. Wal jibala arsaha mata'an lakum wa li'an'amikum. It's like, you know, the anchor of the ship is huge, massive. And they have to throw it into the ocean with a long rope, and the ship stops rocking and it stays in its place. Otherwise, the winds would come and push it away from one place to the other. So they used to use that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the earth without mountains. And the earth was shaking. Because the earth is on water. And anything on water keeps moving like the ship which keeps rocking. So the earth was rocking. Now if it stayed like that, then we would not be able to live on this earth. We would not be able to make buildings and houses on this earth because it's always shaking. Look, when there is earthquake and it shakes a little bit, and how much devastation it causes. So if it used to keep shaking, then how would people live on this? So in order to stop it from shaking and stabilize it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala threw down some mountains. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nailed them into the earth like a person puts nails in the wood. So this is how the earth stabilized. And now those who are into the mountainology, I don't know what they call it, geology and this logy and that logy. So mountainlogy, they say that mountains, you know, the higher they are, the same amount of depth they have beneath. So they only discovered this now. Allah said this before, that Allah set it firm like a nail onto the earth. So Allah set it and stabilized it, so the earth is no longer rocking. It's stable and we can live on it, we can make roads and we can make houses and whatever we want and use it for our residence.
इसको गाई रोप्स कहते हैं मौलाना, जो आप टेंट बनाता है कोई आदमी, टेंट को फिक्स करने के लिए जो पेग्स होते हैं वो अर्थ के अंदर इतनी दूर तक चले जाते हैं कि उसका रेशियो है. तो अल्लाह ताला ने तमीदा का जो लफ्ज़ है, अपने वॉल्केनोलॉजिस्ट और इसकी यही तफसीर है उसकी कि चूँकि ये इल्म बिल्कुल फ़नून है, जितने भी है वॉल्केनोलॉजिस्ट उनको पता ही नहीं था. तो उन्होंने एक आर्गूमेंट ये कहा कि ऐसी जगह ज़लज़ले आते हैं. अब साइंस ये प्रूव कर रही है तो माउंटेन्स जो है प्रिवेंट करते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द कील गोइंग डाउन सो दैट इट डजंट शिफ्ट.
सही है. वबत्थ फीहा मिन कुल्ली दाब्बा, हर किस्म की जानवर फैला दिए. Scattered all types of animals, creatures on the earth. देख लेते हैं सारे creatures, अल्लाह कितना ब्यूटीफुल लगता है क्रिएशन ऑफ अल्लाह. और जब इसको प्लैनेट अर्थ को देखते हैं, फिशेस को देखते हैं, बर्ड्स को देखते हैं. वो किसी ने एक बहुत अच्छा वीडियो भेजा है, हाजा खल्कुल्लाह, उसमें वो कुरान की आयत है और उसमें बर्ड्स हैं. और वो कोई बर्ड जो है वो लाल पीला है, और कोई बर्ड दूसरे बर्ड के सामने डांस करता है, नाचता है. कोई बर्ड आवाज़ करता है और सिग्नल भेजता है दूसरे बर्ड को. तो ये बर्ड्स की एक दुनिया अजीब है. तो उसमें वो उनके कलर और ब्यूटीफुल उनका अपीयरेंस और उनकी आवाज़ और उनकी तस्वीर और उनका खेलना एक दूसरे के साथ, ये सब it shows हादा खल्कुल्लाह. This is Allah's creation, which Allah mentions in the following ayat. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا مِنْ كُلِّ زَوْجٍ كَرِيمٍ. पानी से अल्लाह ने हर किस्म के wonderful plants अल्लाह ने उगा दिए. तो we send down water, and just by water, nothing else, just water. What is the ghiza of the plants? They don't have any ghiza, only water. And water creates all those plants. So water is a very important part of the human life and of the plants and all the world. Everything needs water. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down water and grew plants from all wonderful types. هَذَا خَلْقُ اللَّهِ. This is Allah's creation. فَأَرُونِي مَاذَا خَلَقَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ. Show me what the others have created. Whom you worship, leaving Allah, idols, statues, what have they made? They themselves were made by you. You yourself made it. You made it, you crafted it, you painted it. They never did anything. Why worship them? فَأَرُونِي مَاذَا خَلَقَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ. طالب والمطلوب. صحيح. لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا وَلَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا لَهُ. They can't create a fly. Even if all the idols got together and you put all the idols, the Lat and the Uzza and Manat and the Hanuman and the Ganesh and everything in one place, they can't create a single fly. Allah Pak said, لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا وَلَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا لَهُ. بَلْكِ وَإِن يَسْلُبْهُمُ الذُّبَابُ شَيْئًا لَا يَسْتَنْقِذُوهُ مِنْهُ. You put some biryani, zarda, solo, gajarela in front of them, mithai, habshi, halwa, and you leave it there, jalebi, and the flies come and eat it. The boot is there, but you can't even drive the fly away from the food which is put in front of it. لا يستنقذوه. ضعف الطالب والمطلوب. Weak is the worshipper and the worshipped. Both are weak. The talib means the worshipper and matlub means the worshipped idol. Both are weak. ما قدر الله حق قدره. People have not realized the value of Allah as they should have realized it. They did not value Allah as they should have valued Him. إن الله قوي عزيز. Surely Allah is powerful, He is mighty. Allah said, فَأَرُونِي مَاذَا خَلَقَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ بَلِ الظَّالِمُونَ فِي ضَلَالٍ بَعِيدٍ. Nay, the zalims, tyrants, oppressors are in clear error, clear misguidance. They themselves are going astray. They are leading others astray. Like Allah said above, لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And they are themselves going astray as well. The first ruku of Surah Luqman is finished. Inshallah, we will read the second ruku about Luqman Hakim and his Hakimana advices next week. Inshallah.
क्या था वो कुरान के अंदर वमन यूता हिकमा कतुती
खैरन कसीरा युतिल हिकमत मन यशा. Allah gives hikmat and wisdom to whom He wills, and who is given hikmat has been given khairan kasira.
We use the word hakim in the wrong sense in our language.
हाँ, वो दवा के लिए यूज करते हैं, मेडिसिन के लिए, वो एक नाम बन गया. लेकिन ये हिकमत इज हिकमत, विजडम, दानाई.